Hey everyone, we're going to take a few minutes here to do a quick review of polynomials, specifically adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing them. So let's take a quick look at how to add polynomials. Let's say that you have a rectangle and the length is y squared plus 2y minus 4, and the width is y squared minus 3. So if you were asked to come up with the perimeter of this rectangle, rather an expression that indicates or represents the perimeter, we know that we need to add 2 lengths and 2 widths. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can write the length and width out both twice, or you can use a 2 with parentheses to indicate multiplying twice. So for example, you could say 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. This would represent the perimeter. So in order to complete this, we would do the distributive property. Be real careful with your negatives. Distributive property again. And then we would combine our like terms. Remember that you can only add terms with variables if they are like terms. That means if they have the same variable with the same exponent. So I have 2y squared plus 2y squared. That is 4y squared. I have 4y, and that's it, just 4y. And I have negative 8 minus 6, which is minus 14. This is as far as we can go. We don't have a number that the perimeter is equal to. If we did, we could say equals whatever, and then we could solve it for y, but since we don't have that information, this is all we can do. So the main thing to remember about adding polynomials is to look for like terms. Okay, let's talk about subtracting polynomials. I'm going to take those same 2 polynomials and let's say that I wanted to subtract the second one from the first one. So what you would want to do is you would want to group each polynomial inside its own set of parentheses. And then pay very close attention to what's going on right here. Remember that when there's a negative in front of parentheses, I'm subtracting everything inside the parentheses, not just the first term. The first set of parentheses can stay how it is. I'm doing minus y squared, so that's minus y squared, but I'm also doing minus negative 3, which turns into a plus 3. Remember that in front of the parentheses, we could put a 1, and this is really like multiplying negative 1, like doing distributive property with a negative 1. So be super, super careful about that. Once you have that all laid out, you can drop your parentheses, and then you can start doing your like terms. I have y squared minus y squared. Those are a 0 pair and cancel out. I have one y term and it's 2y. And I have negative 4 plus 3, which is negative 1. So this is what happens when I subtract the polynomials. Be super duper extra super crazy careful about this situation right here. You want to remember to put your second polynomial inside parentheses, and then you want to distribute a negative 1 to everything in the parentheses if you're subtracting. Okay. Next up, let's talk about multiplying polynomials. Let's say I'm going to go back to the first rectangle that we used. And let's say that instead of the perimeter, we want to find the area of this rectangle. So we know that the area is length times width. So I would be doing y squared plus 2y minus 4 times y squared minus 3. Now remember, when we multiply polynomials, we use the box method. Remember that you create a box and you divide it up into however many columns you need in order to put one of your polynomials down, I use the length across the top. I've got y squared, 2y, and negative 4. And then you put your other polynomial down the side. And then you basically make like multiplication table. You're filling in the boxes. Y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. Remember your rules of exponents. Y squared times 2y is 2y to the 3rd. Y squared times negative 4 is negative 4y squared. On the bottom row, negative 3 times y squared is negative 3y squared. Negative 3 times 2y is negative 6y. And then negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, okay? Now remember that I said that your like terms would be in diagonals, and we don't have a y to the 3rd term, but we do have y squared terms. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, I only see one y to the 4th. I only see one y to the 3rd. But I've got my negative 3y squared and my negative 4y squared, and that makes negative 7y squared. I have one y term, and I have one constant. Everything here, none of these terms are like terms, so this is all that we can do here, okay? This is all that we can do. Let's try another one, see if I can make one up that does have like terms. How about if we say 2x plus 3 times 7x minus 4. It doesn't matter which one goes on the top and which one goes on the side. Oh, somebody tagged me in a Facebook post. I should turn off notifications. All right, 7x times 2x is 14x squared. 7x times 3 is 21x. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x, and negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. So here now we see we have like terms. All right, so we've got our 14x squared. You can write these down and then do your like terms if you want, or you can do the like terms right here when you have it in the box, totally up to you. Negative 8 plus 21 would be what, 13? And this would be your answer, okay? So remember, for multiplying, it doesn't matter if you have a binomial times a binomial. Here we had a trinomial times a binomial. Use the box method. Be real careful with your positives and negatives. Look for like terms, and you'll be good to go. And the last thing we want to talk about is dividing polynomials. So here's an example. I have 4x to the 3rd plus 8x squared plus 12x. And I'm going to divide this by 2x. So remember that when you have terms in the numerator that are separated by addition or subtraction, you really need to break up your division. Each one of those three terms is divided by 2x. This is the same as 4x to the 3rd divided by 2x plus 8x squared divided by 2x plus 12x divided by 2x, all right? So you really have, if you think about it, 3 2x terms. Then what you're just going to do is go term by term, and you're going to divide. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. X to the 3rd divided by x. Remember your exponent rules. When you divide exponents, you subtract the exponent. So x to the 3rd divided by x to the 1st would be x squared, because 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And x squared divided by x to the 1st would just be x, because 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 12 divided by 2 is 6. And x divided by x is 1. Think about it this way, not x, but 1. X to the 1st divided by x to the 1st. Well, 1 minus 1 is 0. And anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is really 6 times 1, which is just 6. And that's how you divide polynomials. All right? So there you go, guys. That was the quick, and I mean quick and dirty review on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing polynomials. As always, please feel free to send me an email if you have any questions or need a little bit more examples or a little bit more refreshers. All right, I'll see you next time.